Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us. Do us a huge favor. Smash that subscribe button. Leave a like. Leave a comment. Tell us what you think. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, you can find us at Ray Benny Sports. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Check us out also on Reddit and Discord. And don't forget to leave us a rating on your favorite podcast provider.
Let's get right into it. Whew. We're not going to dwell too much of this last disaster in Princess Auto Stadium. That doesn't happen often, but most promising thing from last game? You want to go first?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, well, there's a couple guys on offense, two Canadian guys to kind of looking at, but I'm going to go with Nick Dembski. Another great game for him, and so far a hot start to the season for him. But set a single career high game receiving yards, 146 yards, and a touchdown for him. But other than that, it's a tough game to find any silver linings in it.
It's like he's kind of turning back the hands of time. He looked great all over the field. He fought hard. And that's not to say Nick Dembski was getting old or he was looking old, but in the past couple of seasons, he's taken a back seat to guys like Kenny Lawler, Dalton Schoen, even Ontario Wilson. But when he's ever called on at any time, he's always money. But, currently he's 15th in the CFL in targets, 13th in receptions, 8th in yards. He's having a great season. He's up there in touchdowns as well. I also had Nick Dembski.
It's funny. It's funny that you say that, right? He is getting older, so you're expecting at some point, hey, he's going to drop off a little bit, or this season's going to be worse than last year, even if it's only by a couple hundred yards or something, right? But he seems to be getting better as he's going along here, and he's had a couple great seasons last couple seasons, and now a lot of it is falling on his shoulders with Dalton Schoen out.
Yeah,
He's
man.
their top receiver. He's their top guy. Right. And the weight was on his shoulders to perform in this game, and he did. And he did his part. Right. And I'll give some credit to Brady Oliveira as well, because when he had the ball, he was making something happen with it. That drive to start their first drive in that third quarter, where Strebler unfortunately ends up throwing the interception right by the end zone. That was predominantly Brady Oliveira on that drive, running, passing. They should have stuck to it. In hindsight, they should have stuck to that and stuck with him instead of forcing something to the outside. So those two Canadian Winnipeg boys are getting it done for the Bombers on offense. And unfortunately, for this game, they were the only ones.
Yeah. That'd be the only good thing I would say about that game. That's why I am not delving into I'm done. Most concerning thing from last game, obviously, the lack of pass rush. Vernon Adams had all day. Like I message you or put on, man, if they don't get to this guy, they're gonna get destroyed. And they got destroyed. And they're facing Nick Arbuckle now, who the last time they played had all the time in the world again. The Bombers had 26 sacks last season. 26. That's 22 behind the league leader. That's less than 2 a game. And what they do in the offseason? Like, I don't know what the issue is. I don't know if it was Kyle Walters sitting on his hands a little bit and maybe grossly miscalculated the capabilities of the talent that he has assembled right now, or was he handcuffed by the cap? Because when you're paying your QB 600 and you're paying your running back over 200, was it 240 or something like that?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money on 2 players. And are both lines being affected by that? Are you getting so? I'm a little concerned. I don't know where they're going to airlift talent from to make this defensive line better, but that's the most concerning thing I have from last game.
Yeah, it's funny because I was looking at that too, and obviously the lack of sacks. I mean, they had 1 sack in this game, right? 2 roughing the passer calls, and then Willie Jefferson ended up getting a spearing penalty as well there as well. So the thing is, yeah, they're not getting any pass rush. Yeah, O'Shea and Willie both said that they were getting to Vernon. The pass rush was working. They just weren't bringing him down. I'm like, okay, well, you weren't getting to him because even if he was not in the pocket, he was getting out of that pocket and he was connecting to his guys downfield. So I'm going to go the other way. And yes, the pass rush is an issue, but the DBs are also an issue at this point as well. Marquise Bridges, I'm not sure what the guy is doing out there. Got burnt on a 35-yard gain to Tevin Jones, then got burnt on that touchdown by Alford, that 42-yarder. I don't know what he was doing. He says, hey, I saw the quarterback scrambling, thought he might run. Dude, he was so far away from you that you weren't going to do much on that play. There was at least 3 or 4 bombers in front of you that would have made a play. You had to stick with your guy. And I don't know if he's just cheating, hoping for those interceptions, but they need some work back there. Terrell Bonds has also had his struggles this year. So, that's concerning to me is that those DBs are getting burnt quite a bit on explosive plays. Even Dietrich Nichols had an off game. I think Calgary was going after him the first drive of that game quite
Yeah.
often. So there's some issues there on that defensive side of the ball.
I would say about, and I'm partially talking out of my ass, I'd say about half of those are because Adams just has all the time in the world. Like you have
Oh
guys
yeah.
making 2-3 moves downfield getting open. Like that's way too long to have the QB looking and getting receivers open. Like it's horrible. Horrible. Um,
Oh yeah. And this
Zach,
was after a bye week too, right? When things, the Bombers are very good after bye weeks, and it looks like they didn't fix anything.
no, they didn't figure anything out. It looked like
No, no.
Zach Collaros looks to be on his way to starting. Is this a good move?
You know what? I just saw what, you look at Davis Alexander in Montreal, and Montreal brought him back a little bit too early. And then he ends up getting hurt. Now he's on a 6 game injured. I'm worried that this might follow this same trend, but I think if Zach's good to go and he's cleared and he has no issues, then yeah, go for it. It's a good move, I guess, right? I am worried, and the Bombers should be worried if it was a knock to the head and he did feel concussion symptoms, but I
I'm
don't think they would clear
sure
him
it
if he
was.
did, right? There's no way they would clear him to play this game if he was not 100%. So. But it is scary. I mean, the guy's had concussions, right? And
Yeah.
his head hit that turf pretty hard.
Yes.
So it's early in the season, right? So if you're
Eh,
rushing him back for this game, then that doesn't make any sense.
I don't think clearing protocol means much when you're at that age and have previous concussion issues. Yes, not many in the past few years, thank goodness, but it only takes one. So, as someone who is on the outside, who doesn't have to consider locker room dynamics and personal relationships and stuff like that, I'd say go with Strevler. Let's protect Collaros going long term in this season. We've seen what Strevy can do with a week of preparation. Like, there's a lot of people who are on his ass about last game and how he played horrible. Man, that whole team played horrible. He came in a position where he had to sling and try hard to do something and get it going. Like, I would judge more on his game against BC, where he had a whole week with the starters to prepare and get ready for a team and game plan. So, yes, I'd say no, this is not a very good move. I'd rather see Strevy and have the hook ready to go, with both of them knowing that if the team's struggling, Zach is going in.
Yeah, but if you think about it, Strebler came in, the game was still close. It was a 1 point game there on his interception, right? And that's where the game basically turned for the Bombers completely,
Yeah, yeah.
right? If he hits that touchdown, they're in the lead,
But he's
right? He
coming in like totally cold, not
Yeah.
preparing. That is a very good defense. Like,
Okay, so my question to you then, do you think if Straveller came out and played a better game, and it didn't go the way it did, and his pick six never happened and all that kind of stuff, they would have cleared Claros, or would they would have stuck with Straveller? Or did they're panicking here knowing, hey, Straveller got beat up, or not beat up, but struggled, so now we need to go back to Zach.
yeah, no, I think Claro's being cleared or not, I don't think they're faking that. I think he passed all tests that need to be tested. I don't think they'd be
Right.
their way out of that. But I'd
But
also consider
precautions,
that
they
they're
like their
playing.
precautions, right?
I'd also consider that they're playing Toronto and not Calgary again. Toronto's defense is not good. They're the worst against the run. Like, this is prime Chris Strevler game right now.
Yeah, well,
That's all I'm saying.
Toronto's D always seems to have the Bombers number, no matter how they're playing. Right? We've seen over the last few years, the Bombers have struggled to score touchdowns against Toronto,
Who's the quarterback playing usually?
and it's Claros usually. Yes,
And
yeah, for
Toronto's
sure.
horrible. Oh, we'll get into this. Toronto and their run defense, that's non-existent. Oh,
Yeah,
any which way, let's move on. Or did I go? Yes, I just went.
yeah.
Which position group needs an immediate boost of talent? Well, I already mentioned mine with D-line, obviously, especially the interior. So I'm not going to beat that dead horse again.
Yeah, to me, it'd either be the D line or the secondary, right? But I mean, those two go hand in hand, right? If you're not getting a
Mhm.
pass rush, you're gonna have 4 or 5 Deion Sanders back there, right? But you look at it, and the guys that struggle back, Jamal Parker has not done well in that secondary at safety. Besides the first
First
game,
game. Yeah. Yeah.
second game maybe a little bit. But since then, even against Edmonton, they were getting torched downfield. The explosive plays, the stuff that we did not see the Bombers giving up over the last couple seasons or few seasons or more is happening in bunches this year. And
Yeah.
it's happened a lot against Calgary. And Dominic Rhymes would have had an easy touchdown if Vernon Adams hits him.
Yeah.
He was wide open as well. So yeah, it's crazy. Those two position groups could probably use something. They need that depth on the D line, right? They need guys to come in and they just let guys go last year. Garbett, Haba, all these guys that
Yeah.
you kind of had there and getting used to your defensive game plan,
Yeah.
right? And it drives me crazy because I go back to Kyle Walters, and like you say, maybe he was hamstrung with it, but he seemed to sit on his hands this year for free agency and not bring in guys that were available,
Oh,
to
absolutely.
shore up that D line. So
Ay,
frustrating, but you know what? We're on opposite ends here. After 3 weeks, we're kind of riding probably a little bit too high, and now after these last 2 weeks, we're probably riding them a little bit too low.
for sure.
I feel like they're probably going to end up somewhere in that middle, and Calgary right now is just looking formidable, right? So
And Saskatchewan.
yeah, and
And
Saskatchewan. So you got
Saskatchewan.
two teams there, and yeah, I mean, you're going to get Calgary again in a couple weeks here, right? And then Saskatchewan probably a couple weeks after that, I believe. So there'll be some hard tests here coming up for the Bombers.
Let's talk about this next test with Toronto. Bomber blueprint. Let's start with offense. I think the Bombers must find a way to creatively use that short and mid-range pass, especially just get into the end zone. They've been playing a solid bend but don't break defense in Winnipeg now, their own defense. So you'd think they'd have some kind of advantage in figuring out how to break that down. But Calgary and Toronto in the Grey Cup just have a way of stalling the Bombers. So if they can find a dynamic way, you maybe use screen passes, get the running, get maybe Vavel. I mean,
Laval.
get that right one day. Maybe get him involved in the screenplay, get some blocking down and open up that. I just want to see some short mid-range passes work.
This is where you probably need to get Peyton Logan into this lineup because then he can do some of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's probably why you're bringing him, not just as a returner, but he can do some different stuff on offense at the running back position. And that's the thing, right? Toronto's D, no matter how bad they're playing, well, they've given up 31 points, 31.5 average per game this year. And like you say, they've given up the third most rushing yards per game. The last couple of weeks, they've gotten a little bit better, but you got to go at their weakness, right? And I know the game plan last year, or in the game plan in the Grey Cup, was to throw the ball and not use Brady Oliveira because hey, Toronto's going to be ready for that. So Hogan's got to come up with a great game plan. They
Yeah.
need it. This Bomber offense needs it. Hogan needs it because right now he's still a rookie OC, right? And he's gonna have growing pains, and you can see that growing pains. Sometimes this offense looks wow, and sometimes this offense is like, what is going on here, right?
Yeah.
And Zach needs to figure things out and make the right plays, and that's what they're gonna have to do against Toronto. But I expect it's in Toronto. I expect this Toronto D to probably be better, and they've got guys. Like they've got guys that what it was. They got 10 guys with sacks. And what's his name has 5 here. Where did I put that down? Andrew Chatfields. I'm not even sure who that is, but has 5 sacks, right? So way more than the Bombers have done so far. So Toronto, even though they're giving up a lot of points, they're getting it done. And Celis Haba even has one. So again, Brady has to be the feature here again to attack that poor rushing D for the Argos.
You know what would be good against a poor Russian D? The heavy set.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'll leave it at that. Because I talk about this is a 2-year horse that I've been beating into the ground. I'm beating the skeleton now. There's no meat left on those bones. I'm beating the skeleton dry into a flour. Like, use a heavy set against a D and just dominate them. Break them
Yes,
down. Bully ball. What happened to bully ball?
gone.
Why is it gone? That's a
I don't know.
staple of this Bomber team.
Yeah, they got to kind of look at see what Montreal did in that first half last week and what they ended up doing in that second half. Because first half is Toronto's D was stopping Montreal. The second half, Montreal offense took over,
Yeah,
right? Figure something out in that lines there and attack this Argo D. Um, it's not a must win, but I feel like they need to win this game to quiet some doubters
I
out there.
agree. I agree. And like the thing is, when you establish that run, you'll start getting those big plays downfield, which have been lacking,
Yeah, they
lacking these
they got
past few
him.
games.
They got it against Edmond. Calgary's D is unreal, man. Like they churned over that defensive roster. 11, I believe it's 11 starters out of 12 are new or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and for them to come together that quickly and dominate the Bombers that they did, the way they did, you know, that offense needs to figure things out for the Bombers quick.
And stop giving up the ball. This is
Yes.
not a team that can win games when they lose the turnover battle.
6 turnovers total last game, was it? Or it's four,
With
two
loss on downs
interceptions
as well.
each. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because 2 interceptions each for the quarterbacks. So
Ugh, they cannot lose, and they're losing their cool on defense. They're getting
yeah,
unnecessary penalties. This is not a typical or whatever O'Shea team right now.
no, it's not at all. Yeah, that was the other thing I had in my notes here, the discipline.
Yeah,
I'm not used to seeing this many penalties coming and guys like Willie Jefferson getting them,
no,
right?
the
Like
frustration is
he's
setting in.
how many 15 yarders and he got ejected from one game too has he gotten this year?
Yeah,
It's crazy. But
he's
frustration, man.
he's gonna hear from the league office this week, right? Has it not been done yet? Like it's
I
only
haven't
Thursday
seen anything.
actually, so no. I thought that looked pretty rough. Any which way,
Yeah.
I'm glad if no
Yeah.
defense. What do they got to do, man?
Like you said, Arbuckle, he tore the Bombers apart in the Grey Cup. He's actually got decent yardage this year. He's averaging 281, so far this season. His touchdown interception ratio, not the greatest, but he's got some dogs out there that can make some plays. And Demonte
Yeah,
Coxey is number 3 in receivers, and Kevin Maitel is 7th. So, watching this Bomber DBs and this Bomber pass rush not get to the quarterback, I feel like this is an opportunity here for Arbuckle to maybe put some more yards up on the board. But hopefully the Bombers D can stop them in the red zone if they need to and at any time and keep them out of the end zone.
yeah,
But they'll have to get after Arbuckle. It's the two things we talked about here. Pass rush needs to be better and the DBs need to be better.
absolutely.
Toronto has no run game, right? So
There's no threat there.
no, there should not be a threat there.
Like they're averaging how much a game? Less than 50 running?
Yeah,
That might
it's
be an
terrible.
extreme, but it's
Yeah.
really bad. Actually, that might be very accurate, less than 50 yards. If I'm the defense, for the soccer fans out there, if you want to display on your screen, I'm pretty much playing like a 5-2-5. I'm going to force Arbuckle to make quick decisions like they should have in the Grey Cup. And,
Yeah.
they'll bring 5 guys all the time. Sometimes hide the blitz, sometimes show a guy and then pop him back in the zone. Try and confuse Arbuckle. Like you said, or like we said, this is the worst rushing team in the league. So I'm fine having 2 linebackers there and having a linebacker play closer to the line. Just throw something at them. And Ryan Dinwiddie and his crew know how to stop the Bomber pass rush. And it's even, the past few years, and it's less of a threat now. So Younger and Hall have to find a way of using a creative blitz and executing it well, because they didn't have to do that when you have Willie Jefferson and Jackson Jeffcoat there. Blitzing was not needed. But when they've
No,
tried to execute the blitz the past couple of years, ugh,
it's
it
been
has.
ugly.
Yes, they've paid for it. They've paid for it badly because they can see it coming a mile away. So they really have to win this kind of chess game. Like they have to bring a Rich Stubler type of defense where you don't know where the rush is coming from.
It's funny you talk about it because I'm pretty sure it was Montreal Toronto game after Montreal had taken the lead. They brought the safety down. His name's not Montreal brought the safety down. I can't remember his name now.
Duquay.
Yeah, exactly. And they brought him and put him on the line, and he was just off the left a little bit.
Yeah.
And Toronto missed it completely, and he got after Arbuckle and caused the hit that led to the interception. Game over.
Yeah.
Right, and it's just like I don't see that stuff from the Bombers.
Exactly.
You're not winning with 4-man pass rush. It's not working. You need to start bringing some kind of blitzes. The only time I can think of the Bombers blitz, they bring 6 or 7 guys and they don't get through. But I watch other teams get through, so I'm like questioning what exactly is going on there. I still have faith in Jordan Younger, but this is a big test for both these guys, both OCs.
Yeah.
or sorry, OC and DC. This is a big test for these guys to show that they're learning and they can stop the bleeding in these games.
And the Bombers need to stop them on second down. The
Yes.
Bombers are
Yes.
50%. 50-50 is not good. Calgary, on the other hand, is 43%. So most of the time, they aren't giving up that second down. So they got to step up on second down. This is crazy. This
And
is
then that
crazy.
was a lot against Calgary. And again, it went
Oh,
back to the DBs playing so far off again.
where have
Why
you
did
seen
we go
that
back to
before?
that? Yeah.
Exactly.
Richie
Exactly.
Hall D, man. It's just that he drove you crazy, right? But they were at that point where they bend and don't break, don't give up touchdowns. But now they're giving up touchdowns. So something's got to change here.
Come on, Bombers. You're getting Benny frustrated here. Oh, he
Yes.
doesn't know what to do with his hands.
No,
Special
no.
teams. I'm going to be quick and concise.
Yeah.
Do your job. Don't turn the ball over.
Yeah. Stop generating Grant. That's it.
Oh my
Castillo's
gosh.
Castillo. Keep doing it. I know the funny thing is too, again, it's like Toronto, Castillo against Toronto. Something happens, knock on wood here. But it's just like it's BMO field. I don't know. Drives the Bombers crazy.
Okay.
Anything in Toronto has always driven the Bombers crazy, no
That's
matter
saying, just like
what their record is.
Skydome or
Yeah,
whatever.
Skydome, exactly.
Or
Yeah.
Grey Cups.
Oh, yes. Oh my God.
Undefeated. They have not lost against the Bombers. And that's crazy.
That is a crazy stat. Like still can't get over that one.
Did you give your special teams what's up?
Yeah, just stop generic Grant.
Generic Grant, that's
That's
right.
that's the biggest thing to me. I don't even care if Vival just if he's playing because he got injured last game as well. Do your job, no turnovers. Castillo hit your field goals. Sheehan, man, this is on you, buddy. You need to have a very good game punting this ball so that we can stop generating Grant.
Yes. If he averages net 35 yards a punt, I'm fine with that if
Yeah,
Janarian averages 2 yards a return.
yeah. The thing is, get Nick Arbuckle to beat you, right? I know he did
He
already.
can.
So that sucks. We know he can, but make him beat you, not Janarian Grant.
Oh man, even the tough of times, they still have fun talking about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Yeah.
Fans, put your comments in the comments section below. Uh did you stop Janarian Grant. I've just asked you that twice now. What's your number one take from the CFL in week 7?
Yeah. I probably said this a few times with teams, but Calgary is the team to beat right now. Like they've won 5 games last year. They're already at 5 wins. That D is dominating. They're giving only up 16.6 points per game or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They're not giving up the big plays. They're top. And we talked about the Bombers' red zone offense, how good it was in the first 3 games, right?
Yeah.
Calgary completely shut them down, right? And they couldn't, the Bombers' offense couldn't get it done there. So that defense is really stepping it up. Vernon Adams is getting the job done. He's still making a few mistakes here and there. But again, to me, I think the biggest thing is that Calgary defense has been so dominating. So
I'm going to go to the East. Third team in the CFL against the pass. Third team defense against the CFL in the rush. And their offense looks deadly. I'm talking about the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Like, kind of surprised, but not surprised. Also, shout out to Ted Govea. He's put it to, let's turn the tape back like 4 years. I've always loved Johnny Augustine, and it's so good to see that guy have a strong game. That looks like a good, well-rounded team in the East. Who's our head
yeah,
coach again?
Scott Milanovich.
This guy, I don't like him. He's one of those guys you look at his face, it's like, I don't like that dude, but he's a good coach.
Yeah. They did lose to Calgary though, so
I know. Neither of us had Calgary in the Grey Cup.
No, no, not at all. I don't even think we picked them to make the playoffs. Did you? I know I didn't. But
I got to rewind the
it,
tape on that one. I don't
it's
know.
we laughed kind of in the offseason about Ted Govea going after all these bomber guys, Liam Dobson, Johnny Augustine, Kenny Lawler, Garbett. I'm probably missing a couple more, right?
Yeah.
But so far, all these guys have had good starts to the season. And like you say, Johnny Augustine, it was a guy last week, and he had a great game rushing.
Yeah.
And so right now, and Liam Dobson, I mean, I haven't heard it either or, but If you don't hear his name, that means he's having a solid season,
You know
right?
he's good.
Yeah.
Come on now.
So these are the guys that Kyle Walter kind of left. And you look at the O line for the Bombers last week.
Uh,
Vanderpool struggled, and that didn't help Gabe Wallace, who's still learning the game. So that left side, and hopefully Stanley Bryant's back this week. Otherwise, those Toronto D line are gonna feast. They're gonna go after. We didn't even really talk about that. And that Bomber O line needs to step it up if Stanley Bryant's not in it.
so injured and so aged.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And it goes back to where that resources, where those monies are being thrown out to. You got two positions over $1 million in a league with what's the salary cap now? 5 something?
Something that went up after, yeah. But you got to think the Bombers have some room, right, to have made some moves, or they got room to make moves if they have to, right?
Well, yeah,
Because
we'll see.
there was always still talk of, oh, now they got more money to go after Lawler and give Lawler that contract that the Hamilton was giving him before the free agent period started, kind of thing. So there's got to be opportunities there, but that's the thing. You got I get it. You got a high paid quarterback, you got a high paid running back, but you got to use that running back more.
Yeah.
And not abandon him in a close game. Even if you went down that one touchdown after the interception, you still got to let Brady cook again on that next drive. But
Yeah.
we're not seeing it so far.
Going back to Ted Gouvet, he's also not just brought in some great talent, he's brought in some good character guys from a winning team. He's bringing in some good winning culture on that team.
Yeah.
Here's a quick shot for you. If you're Mark Killam, are you putting Cody Fajardo in against the Rough Riders?
No, not yet. I'm not giving up on Trey Ford yet.
And you're coming off a bye week.
Yeah. Listen, chances are you're losing against Saskatchewan anyways, with Trey Ford or Cody Fajardo right now.
Yeah.
Oof. Right. I'd probably let Trey Ford see what he can do out there in a tough game like that before switching to Fajardo, but I'm not ready for him to give up on Trey Ford yet.
What are
you doing?
Oh, no, you're coming off a bye week. Let the guy cook. Let's see what happens. Let's see if he takes some steps forward. But also let them both know that Fajardo could come in if things aren't looking good.
Yeah, you can't throw 34 yards again.
It's hard to go a week without criticizing the CFL and the lack of growth in the league. Who's the face of the CFL?
Sorry.
No more schedules. No, we're not talking about don't do. They've had so much attention on. They owe us. Who's the face of the CFL, by the way? If like Patrick Mahomes is a face of the NFL, if like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or LeBron is a face of the NBA, Connor McDavid is for sure the face of the NHL. Who's the face of the CFL?
Well, there's good players, but I mean, to pick one off the top of my head, I don't. Yeah, you're probably going with one of the quarterbacks. Is it Bo Levi Mitchell right now? Is he the face of the CFL? Just because how well he's been playing, right?
That's the thing. Like, who do you grow your game around? Who's that dude?
Yeah, you don't want it to be Bo Levi in a way because his days are closer to being over than starting, right?
Yeah.
You want a good younger quarterback, Drew Brown, exactly, or a Trey Ford or a Nathan Rourke, but or Brady Oliveira.
Nathan Rourke or Brady Oliveira would be I'd say Nathan Rourke more just because he's in a larger market. Yeah. If you really want to grow the game and you have this great Canadian quarterback who's been down south, been in the NFL, that you can really market, you'd hope that Nathan Rourke, but they're not winning enough.
No, and he struggled against Saskatchewan there, right? And we just talked about it. He's going to have his up and down games, but when he's playing these better Ds, he is struggling right now.
Not good for the league if you don't have a face of the league.
No, and your guys, if you did, Zach Collaros has obviously had an up and down year too, but he's an older guy as well. Bo Levi, Vernon Adams has been in almost on every team so far. So
he's a true face of the league. Oh my god! It was like Kevin Glenn was the face of the league.
Yeah.
Did they ever assign him to a one day on the Ottawa Roughriders?
No. But he was there, right? Wasn't he? And then he never played.
That's right.
Wasn't he in Ottawa? And then all that shit happened.
When they're starting the franchise, wasn't he?
Yeah, and then they signed Henry Burris, right?
So technically he was on the Roughriders.
He was, but he didn't play.
Did you know that the person who first met Kevin Glenn at the airport to pick him up for the Bombers was me.
Are you serious?
Yeah, bro.
When you were volunteering for the Bombers?
Yeah, that one day I got to meet Brendan Taman. I'm like, what do you want me to do? Because I was trying to get into sports management. And he's like,
Yeah.
you can pick up the players from the airport today. And I did, and I met Kevin Glenn, and it was also Chris Svetkovich's first year in Winnipeg. So I met him and a whole bunch of others. Any which way, it's not about me. Let's move on.
Now you got to get Kevin, call up Kevin Glenn, get him on the podcast.
Well, because he's my boy.
Yeah, exactly. You guys hung out in the car together.
Yeah, hey, remember me when you first stepped off the plane in Winnipeg and you had to plug in your phone? Yeah, I was that dude. Remember? He's like, no.
You want to come on my podcast?
No. I'm just joking. Kevin Glenn, please come on our podcast.
Yeah.
Thoughts on? Let's move on to some Winnipeg Jets talk. Blue Bomber fans.
Whoa.
What? Oh, week 8.
Yeah.
Week 8 picks. I was excited to talk about Gabe Vilardi. Talking about that's my boy. Thursday night, Montreal, Calgary. Without Davis Alexander. Who are you choosing?
Yeah. I'm taking Calgary. They're just rolling right now, and I don't have faith in MBT to figure out this Calgary defense.
I'm taking Calgary too. Saskatchewan, Edmonton. I'm gonna go with Saskatchewan at home. Edmonton's just not ready. Saskatchewan's looking good. They're rolling as well. And that first in the West is going to be a tight battle all year long. The Bombers might creep up and push, hopefully, later on.
Yeah, Bombers just got to keep ahead of BC at least to get that top 3 spot, right? And then see what you can do against Saskatchewan.
BC, that's right.
Coming Labor Day. So I'm taking Saskatchewan as well. I don't think Edmonton's quite there yet.
Saturday game, Winnipeg at Toronto. Who do you got?
This is going to be a close game. Could go either way. I'm going to take Winnipeg in this one. I have a bad feeling again because we talked about it's Toronto, it's in Toronto, all that stuff, right? But
yeah,
Winnipeg needs this one, so I'm going to pick them.
Last week, you took Calgary to beat Winnipeg. This week, I'm going to go Toronto to beat Winnipeg just because of that horrible Toronto mystique. I just think somehow, some way, Liam Hiralahu is going to kick the ball hard and it's going to sail through the end zone for a Rouge, and that's how the game's going to end. BC, Hamilton, who do you have there? Or yeah, you go ahead.
I'm going to take Hamilton in that one. Again, like you say, they're just playing very well. And you talk about ex-Bomber kickers. Mark Leggio is having a wicked season in Hamilton. I can't remember what it was, but he's hit how many field goals in a row right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, good for him. Props to him. But yeah, Hamilton wins this game.
So there's him, Hiralahu, and who's a kicker that went to like Dallas, and we are hoping that the Bombers would sign him. Who was that? There's a kicker in the NFL for a few years, and like, oh, he's available now. Maybe the Bombers.
Is he in the league now?
I don't think so.
Wasn't it Liam?
Was it Liam Hiralahu?
Yeah, I think so. He was out there in the NFL and coming back. We were hoping they'd sign him.
Shoot.
Half the kickers in the league used to be on the Bombers. Paradise was with the Bombers for a bit.
We all ran them out of town.
I'm like, you're no good. You're no good.
Yeah, because when they started, they weren't better than Troy Westwood.
No. But Hiralahu was, I mean, I was at one game against Edmonton. The guy missed 5 field goals. And it's like, dude.
Yeah.
And then Sean White or whoever was the Edmonton kicker at the time comes in and hits a 50-something yarder to win the game. It's like, dude, you needed to just hit one of these. So
they get out of Winnipeg. They're like, oh, people are actually nice to kickers. Yeah, okay,
I can do this.
I'll go Hamilton as well. Blue Bomber fans, CFL fans, put your comments in the comments section below. Let's do a little bit of Winnipeg Jets talk. What are your thoughts on the Gabe Vilardi contract?
I was quite surprised. I like it, and I like listening to Vilardi come out. And this one line from him, it feels like home. I like that. That's what he said about Winnipeg. And a lot of people shit on Winnipeg. And like he said, even in this article, he's like, when you come in from another place, you go on Portage in a hotel. It's cold. There's not a lot to see around there. You don't necessarily want to walk a couple blocks in -30 to go for dinner, but that's all you see, right? But once you're here, you get to see a little bit more of Winnipeg. You get to see there's other areas. You get to see a little bit more of Manitoba even. So, you know what? As long as this guy can stay healthy, I think this is a great deal for the Bombers, for the Jets.
Yeah.
And it solidifies that top line here now, and I know Connor's coming up next year, so you got to kind of get him under contract, but it's a good deal for the Jets, good deal for Vilardi. Now you just got to get Dylan Sandberg done.
I think he'd be like a number one winger on at least half of the teams in the NHL. And some of them the elite teams that made the playoffs in the NHL. So when you can get a guy for that long, 6 years, 7 years,
6 years, yeah.
6 years at averaging 7 and a bit million a year, that's a good deal again. And like you say, there's a culture about Winnipeg once you get beyond being a visitor player and get to know the city and obviously get to know the franchise. It's a good place to be. It's hard to sell to guys who have already made big money in big markets.
Oh yeah, I get it, right? It's Winnipeg. At the same time,
young.
and some of these younger guys, they want to go to the bigger markets, but they also don't want to get the pressure, right? So you
Absolutely.
can go to Florida, get paid good, play on a good team, obviously right now,
Yeah.
but you're never going to get harassed or bothered or whatever kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. Let's
Or
just
you can go,
say I think it's mostly the media. I think
yeah.
Winnipeggers are great with the Jets and celebrities and stuff like that. I think we're very respectful. I don't think you see many stories of athletes being like, maybe they don't say it as much. And sure, there are times when fans are intense. But in a market like this where we really love our hockey team, I think we're also very respectful of the hockey players, unless you maybe skip on a restaurant bill.
Evander Kane.
I didn't say it, you did. But I'm just saying, I don't think it's the fans. I think it's really the intensity of the media on you every day. And every player is under the microscope. Like you can be a guy in this moose system trying to hide and you still get the spotlight on you. Like you can be on it doesn't matter where you are in the lineup, you're getting attention on you. You know what I mean?
So, well, it's Canada, right? I mean, McDavid gets shit on.
Mitch Marner.
Mitch Marner, exactly. Right. So yeah, I get it. And it's just like, and even for me, if I can see a Jet guy out there or a bomber or whatever, I'm not going to go up to them and bother them. Right. They're out there doing their own thing. If it's a media or autograph signing thing that they've signed up for, all that kind of stuff, sure, great. But these guys, they're living their lives too when they're out there, right? So let them live that life as well and not bother them. But that's the thing. And these stupid polls that the Athletic or whatever it is, ESPN runs of like, where's the worst place you can play? Where's it's like, stop with those freaking things, right? Yeah. We get it. No one likes going to Winnipeg in January. Half of us don't like Winnipeg in January, right? We don't want to be in minus 40. So I think those things are not helping the perception of Winnipeg either, or a lot of places in Canada in general. So those things need to go away as well. And the league needs to stop those things. I don't see a lot of stuff like that for the NFL. Like those
Bay
stupid
is
polls.
Praised.
Yeah, exactly. And Green Bay is a smaller market than freaking Winnipeg almost, right? And it's just as cold.
Yeah.
But people love going there and playing there. So build these places up. The NHL needs to do a better thing of building up places and not having them get ragged on.
Good luck with Gary Bettman in that. Always putting his pressure on Winnipeg to meet
Bring
standards.
back Atlanta, man. Bring back Atlanta. And then Phoenix.
Those campaigns will never die with that guy around.
No, Atlanta's coming back for sure.
Benny, do you have things to say to our friends?
You know what? Thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget, subscribe and follow, and go Bombers, go.
And in the words of Herm Edwards, Bombers, come on now. You play to win the game. Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.